Hello, everyone. I'm Colin Tessier of WrestleZone.com, here to talk about WWE NXT 2.0 on this fine Tuesday evening. I'll say it once, and I imagine I'll say it again. John Clark, not here tonight. I believe he's at a hockey game. I got that wrong on post-show last night for Raw, so I'm sorry. I had said John will be here. I misspoke on that one. Obviously, we know that John will be out and about WrestleMania weekend, and I just assumed that he would be here, and I got the timeline wrong. So just me tonight. Hope you all don't mind, but we got a very eventful episode of NXT to talk about. As Stand and Deliver is right around the corner, this was the second to last show before that, so definitely lots of stuff to dig into, really start to finish. So I don't even know where to begin, but we'll talk about all about that. Just going to give people a minute to kind of log in here. But before I do, just want to remind you all, this show, like everything we do here, is available on all of our platforms: SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, all the good stuff. You know where to find us. So please leave a like and subscribe. We really do appreciate it. So NXT tonight, it's funny. This is one of those shows where I was feeling really good. We got Brian Everett saying this was a fun show. Brian, it was a fun show. I was feeling pretty good. We talked about it last week, NXT 2.0. It's getting better. Like, we're making progress. The show has actually been pretty good lately, and that feels good to say. There was a time not so long ago where I was very, very down on the show as a whole, and now a couple weeks in a row here, I'm feeling all right about it, and let alone actually pretty good. That's pretty cool. So that in itself is a win, and I was feeling good about the show overall. I thought we're really kind of rolling along here. Got some more good stuff for Stand Deliver. We got some build for the matches we already knew about. We got some good matches. We got the return of Robert Roode's glorious theme song, which made me very, very happy. I miss that theme song very, very much. We'll talk about that. And then the show really just took a turn, not even the main event match, but the show closing angle after the main event match really left a bad taste in my mouth. And I don't want to say that it put a damper on the whole show, but like I said, I was feeling pretty good, and that at least lessened it. So and Steven, you're diving right in. We might as well just dive right in with it. So yes, apparently I haven't seen any official confirmation yet, but supposedly we will see a Fatal 4-Way match now at Stand Deliver for the NXT Women's Championship. That came about because, as we knew in the main event, the finals of the Women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. And I want you all to focus on that. The tag team tournament here, the finals. Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai faced Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray. This was a good match, as you would expect. Kaylee Ray and Shirai are great. Dakota Kai is great. Wendy Chu, very, very talented wrestler. I've said it before. Not loving the gimmick, but that's okay. It doesn't mean that someone's not talented. It's that I can say that I am not a big fan of any particular gimmick. In this case, not loving that. That did not take away from what was a very good match. As you would think here. So this was the main event, as I thought it should be. The Tag Team Classic here, the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Deservedly so in the main event. Now, John and I talked about this last week. I kind of thought that they might go with Dakota and Wendy Chu more. I mean, it is weird because Dakota's been there for years now, but Wendy Chu is kind of the 2.0 side of things, the new character that they might want to try and establish here with a big win there. So I was thinking Kaylee Ray and Io should have won, but I was also thinking, okay, they might go with Dakota and Wendy to kind of build up someone new in Wendy Chu. That didn't happen. Dakota and Wendy wound up on the losing side of things. We had Io and Kaylee Ray win the match, and I thought it would have been fine to just close the show. You got the confetti. It's happy, set up, indirectly set up this eventual tag team title match because they won the tag team tournament. Instead, Toxic Attraction, Mandy Rose, and the women's tag team champions, Gigi Dolan and JC Jane. They came out and Mandy said, "Oh, if you think there's any way you're going to beat these two for the titles, you're sadly mistaken." And then Kaylee Ray said, "Oh, well, our whole plan in being in this tag team tournament was to destroy Toxic Attraction by taking the one thing you value more than anything else, that being the NXT Women's Singles Championship." So they cashed in the I don't know. I guess the title shot in theory, the title shot they received by winning the tournament on Mandy Rose and her NXT Women's Championship instead of the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship. Again, I say tag team because it was the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Tournament. Are you with me? Tag Team Tournament, and they're challenging for a singles title here. Not the best. The promo itself wasn't great either. It feels like they never let Io Shirai speak as just generally, just as a general rule of thumb. So then once she does, like, I feel like she hasn't really gotten the chance to really hone that side of her skill set. So, it's almost a little jarring whenever she does, and it's like it can be a little hard to follow. So it's like, I'm kind of struggling to see where this is going. And then boom, there it is. They're going to challenge for the singles title here. So then Cora Jade comes out, and then they'll start brawling, and it becomes abundantly clear, supposedly, that, again, I still don't know if we have official confirmation, but it will be a fatal four-way. Cora Jade, Mandy Rose, that was the initial singles match, and now the introduction of the women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic winners, Kaylee Ray and Io Shirai here. Nesha saying, "Where's John? John, I believe, is at Penn State, either Penn State or some hockey game tonight." I misspoke. I said that's why the show. That's my bad. I botched it. I realized John would be away for WrestleMania week, and I forgot he also would be away tonight here for a hockey game. So that's my bad. I got that one wrong. It's just me tonight, but we got a very eventful show to talk about here to make up for it. So yes, Fatal 4-Way for Stand Deliver. We got Steven saying he would like to see Kaylee Ray win, but he would not be surprised if Mandy retains here. As for the tag team match to end of the show, Steven saying it was a great match. Brian saying it was a really good. And now they definitely have to call Dakota up, especially with his loss. I would agree. We've said many, many times here, especially with the women's side of things and the women's division, Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez, any number of people here that would easily, in theory, thrive on the main roster. Dakota's probably at the top. I would say at the top of that list. So I could see it, especially after the week after WrestleMania. Maybe I think that would definitely be the time to do it. But Anthony with a very good question. If we do get this Fatal 4-Way, what are they doing with the tag titles? Because they just had this whole tournament, in theory, with the idea that the winner of the tag team tournament, I'm going to keep driving that point home, would challenge for the tag team titles. So without that, nobody's going to be challenging for the tag team titles because every other tag team in the very limited NXT Women's Tag Team division lost. So you can't turn around and just say, oh, we're going to have Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai challenge instead. And in theory, I guess that's the least worst option because at least they made it to the finals. But at this point, I don't know. That's more than my problem with this thing. The Fatal 4-Way itself is great, cool. Like, I'm sure that's a great match, and that's a strong addition. Or we already had the singles match, a strong change to the card, I guess. But it does leave that question of like, what could they be doing with the tag titles here? Brian, a very fair point here, saying they could have had Casey and Caden win because they are an actual tag team. I guess at this point, like, they would probably be the best option. But again, they lost. I think they lost in the second round. So yeah, this isn't great. Like, they could have done something else to get there. I think, I don't know. They could have had qualifying matches or something, but again, to take this tag team tournament and use it for a singles title shot, it's just not it. And Nesha, you're gonna make me get ahead of myself. I'm frustrated about this because, again, I think it's, logically speaking, pretty silly, if not a little dumb. But there were things I like tonight. Index being definitely one of them. We'll talk all about that. But yeah, as I said at the start of the show, I was feeling good about NXT. Again, we're on a roll. A couple good shows in a row here. The shows tonight had been pretty good. Good main event match, and this show goes the angle. The wheels kind of fell off there. We got Steven predicting a 6-woman tag team match next week here with these combination of women here. I could see that. Yeah, that would actually make a lot of sense. The Toxic Attraction 3 versus Cora, Kaylee Ray, and Io. Makes sense to me. They didn't officially announce it yet. If they did that, they would have 2 6-person tag team matches because we found out as well that there would be LA Knight and MSK versus Imperium next week. Not saying they can't do that, but I think that'd be good. I hope they do that because that'd be a good kind of go home show way to build that match there. So yeah, long story short, really darn weird. You're going to do this whole tag team tournament and then just have the winners challenging for a singles title. like I can see the intention, right? Okay, we want to destroy Toxic Attraction. If that's what Kaylee Ray and EO are thinking, that's their motive. So how do they do that? They want to take the title? But like again, just the going from point A to point B here. It's like you enter this tag team tournament, and like I guess outside of their individual motive, like the I guess bigger picture, it's kind of a weird look. But I don't want to keep rambling about it. Like it seems weird to me. I don't think it's great. Again, it is the last word on it. The Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, and now the winning prize is being used on a singles title. Seems inherently kind of I'm not saying it's like inherently wrong, but it seems inherently weird. So, but there was plenty of good stuff as well. So we'll go. I guess the bookends here. That was the end of the show. Let's circle all the way back. I mean, all right, last where we got Steven saying yes. If you're going to do that, as they just did, with the tag title, the tag tournament going to a singles title shot, what's the point? Because it's a tag team tournament. Again, I don't want to keep beating a dead horse. So there you go. That's where we'll leave it. But we did have plenty of other good things as well. We had a good opening match here. We had two North American Championship ladder match qualifiers. We had Solo Sikoa and Roderick Strong opening the show. We had Nestor saying the open match is good. She said, glad Roderick Strong is back. He was on NXT UK last week. I think he challenged someone else. I don't remember who. I don't keep up with NXT UK. I'm sorry. I seem to remember he challenged somebody. So he'll probably at least have at least one other match on NXT UK, which is good. I think any show with Roderick Strong on it is better for it. So yes, the North American Championship qualifier here. We had Roderick and Solo. Very good match. I tweeted about it pretty early on that it is a little disappointing to see Roderick kind of pretty clearly getting shoved into this and enhancement talent doesn't feel quite right because it's not like he's jobbing out, but it's like that he's at that point where you don't really see him winning a lot of these matches. And not even that you don't just see him winning, you don't see that being a realistic outcome. It's like they put him in this match with Solo Sikoa. It's like, all right, it's going to be a very good match. Roderick Strong's great. So he's been very good so far from what we've seen. But for kind of the I guess predictability standpoint, it's like, NXT 2.0, yet again, time over time, by and large, it's all about building the new people. So Roderick Strong, a guy that's been there for several years now, kind of get like lost in the shuffle or at the least like on the back burner in a way. So you put him in this match, it's going to be a good match, but you can pretty safely assume that it's not going to go Roderick's way. So it was a good match. Solo won. So we do know that Solo Sikoa will be entering that ladder match. So now that includes Santos Escobar and of course the champion Carmelo Hayes. So that's where we kind of began the show here, knowing the three of them. And we got two comments saying that Roderick deserves a title. Absolutely, Roderick Strong does deserve a title. We got Nesha and Steven saying that. Steven pointing out that Roderick challenged Ilya Dragunov for the NXT UK title. If they want to keep loading up the Stand Deliver card, I could see that being added. That's what Brian Everett is suggesting. Admittedly, we'll talk about it in a couple minutes. They added another match to the card with LA Knight and Gunther. So John and I talked about this last week. I don't know how much they can really add any more to this card because I mean, just speaking of just pure practicality, I don't see them making it a really long card when they well on know good amount of those people in attendance will probably be going to WrestleMania that very night. So I would imagine they might want to keep it fairly short and not like really, really load up the card in that sense. So I think that'd be a great match. I just don't know if Stand Deliver is the most realistic place where what happened. More for that practicality reason. Steven brings up the chops from Walter. Don't you worry, we'll be talking all about those because Walter/Gunther, the world's best chopper. His chops are absolutely brutal. Talk about that in a minute. But while we're talking about it, we might as well get into the other qualifying match: Grayson Waller versus A-Kid. Grayson Waller won. Good showing for A-Kid. Weird kind of thing here. A-Kid got the jobber entrance. We had a video kind of promo for Grayson Waller. This was coming after A-Kid's debut last week on NXT Prime. He beat Kushida, and now this is a qualifying match for the North American Championship ladder match. And so I felt like it was pretty much a lock that Grayson Waller would win. But then at the same time, yet again, trying to build up somebody new. Grayson Waller's already been built up. So you would think that he could probably take kind of like an upset loss here. But Grayson Waller won. He's going to Stand and Deliver. But then Carmelo Hayes brought up that the final spot in the ladder match will be kind of a last chance deal. So we're going to see Roderick Strong, A-Kid and Cameron Grimes face off in a triple threat match next week, and the winner will go on to have the final spot at Stand Deliver. That seems a little weird to me. It's like, these guys just lost, and now it's like not the best to go just, you're kind of like losing your way into a match in that sense. Not ideal. They do it all the time. I'm not saying it's like unprecedented, but not the best. Not just saying she can't believe A-Kid lost. I mean, it is worth pointing out A-Kid is, I think he's in the DLC for WWE 2K22. So that tells me like they clearly value him to some extent. And so that was really kind of one reason why I thought he would win here, but he didn't. So then I kind of questioned the timing of like, if you're going to bring him on to NXT Prime, he beats Kushida last week, then he has his qualifying match and he loses. It's just a little interesting kind of a timeline in that sense. Like you could have just kind of waited and then given this loss to somebody else to waited until after Stand Deliver in that sense. But Nesha, I know you're a big fan of Grayson Waller, so I imagine. Oh wait, no. Oh, Nesha's. I'm sorry. I got ahead of myself. I thought Nesha was saying she wanted Grayson Waller to win. Nesha was saying she wanted Grayson Waller to lose. Oh man. But unfortunately, in that regard, he won tonight, so he'll be going on to Stand Deliver. So now again, we got Solo, Grayson, Santos Escobar, and of course the champion Carmelo Hayes. The next week, again, that last championship threat match here, we got Steven picking Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes had a very emotional promo tonight. We're definitely seeing kind of this evolution from the jokester Cameron Grimes, and he's been like the $1 million man prodigy or protege Cameron Grimes to now a much more serious. Where tonight he had this promo about how his father passed away, and he wanted to kind of live up to the promise that he made to his father right before he signed. Right when he signed with WWE. That was 2 or 3 years ago now, and he still hasn't been able to win a title. So he really wants to change that. And like by pulling up the heartstrings, I'm like, man, this guy's got to win the title now. But again, it's Carmelo Hayes. Like I don't see him losing the title until he's going to get called up. Like I don't see him getting a title shot against the NXT champion. In this case, who would probably be Bron Breakker after Stand Deliver. I think they're going to really try and protect him. So he might wind up losing. I mean, now that I'm saying out loud, maybe he will lose at Stand Deliver because it's a ladder match. He doesn't have to get pinned. There you go. I could actually see it. I don't know what the timeline is. I do know, or at least believe, Carmelo Hayes, definite star. Cameron Grimes, also definitely a star. So I think both guys are great. I think we might not be waiting too long before we see Carmelo Hayes on the main roster. Another person a lot of you seem to be pretty high on is A-Kid. We got Brian saying A-Kid, ton of potential. He would be fun in a ladder match, so he will be in this last chance match next week. So I do think that they might want to have another high flyer in there. At this point, none of the people in the match really jump out to me as a high flyer other than kind of Carmelo Hayes. So I think that would make sense. So definitely, I could definitely see that. We got Nesha saying it gets talented as well. Again, as I said it before, yeah, I unfortunately just don't have the time to watch NXT UK. I've heard good things. I really should watch more of his matches. Maybe I'll carve out some time to do that before we see him again next week. But otherwise, here we got Nesha saying Grimes deserves it in terms of, I guess, winning the match next week and potentially the title. That'll probably be my big idea. You're going to have this promo where he's like really pulling on the heartstrings. You can't have the guy lose after he's like talking about wanting to live up to this promise made to his late father. So that I at the least think he's going to win this match next week, and I guess I would think it would come down to him and A-Kid, and I could see Grimes really pinning Roderick Strong. I guess I don't know if I see A-Kid getting pinned 2 weeks in a row. Whereas again, as I'm saying, what I said a minute ago with Strong, again he's more unfortunately the guy that is there to take losses at this point. Again, I think that's a shame because he's very, very talented, but that's where we are with NXT 2.0. But Steven agreeing that he doesn't see Hayes losing for a while either. Again, I would agree unless we do see Hayes getting called up to main roster. But again, I'm not quite sure when that might be. I brought it up a minute ago, so I might as well dive into all things Index. The Index saga continues here. We had an actual, a legitimate appearance from Dexter Lumis. I actually had a match here, so that was good. And I said it during the show on Twitter. We got to see Dexter Lumis being on NXT. And NXT is better with Dexter Lumis. I say it, and I know that his gimmick, his whole kind of thing is a little divisive. But Dexter Lumis, we said it before. absolutely maximize his minutes. I mean, like the man, he never speaks. He literally never speaks. And yet I find him, at least myself, to be one of the most entertaining people on NXT. Like every little, like he gave a thumbs up last week, every little like gesture or just his presence, it just, there's something about him. It's very, very entertaining. I like him a lot. So I was happy to see him actually have a match tonight. He lost, which was not great. That's a little upsetting. But at the very least, he was on the show. Since the 2.0 revamp, I feel like Loomis has kind of been lost in the shuffle. And I think that's a damn shame. I just said, I think he's one of the very most entertaining people on the show. And so you go weeks and weeks where he's either not on the show at all, or he's confined to like 30-second spots here and there, like last week, like the makeout session that we saw. I think it deserves better than that. I think it deserves better than losing to Tony D'Angelo multiple times. This match happened, I think, on the road to War Games, and that was back in December, and I'm pretty sure he lost there as well. We got Brian saying that he wishes Dexter was in a major title match. I agree. Yeah, like even if he's not winning, just like give him a spot in title match, give him something. Not that this isn't meaningful, but like. Every dog has his day. Like, throw a dog a bone. Give Dexter, a title match here, right? Come on, like he's a veteran. He's doing stuff. He's been a great part of NXT for a while now. So I am disappointed in that sense. But I should mention, I think I brought up to John on the Raw show last night. Multiple times here, both on the social media accounts and now the making it part of the storyline. We've got this question of like who's more popular, Persia and Duke versus Index. I said it last night. I'll say it again because this is the NXT show. It's not a question. Index, like, is so much better and so much more popular than Persia. I think they named themselves Duja tonight. Duja, like, it's not good. It's not good. And that just seems silly to me. It's like Index is peak. Like you're not topping Index. Nothing, and let alone. Like they haven't really done anything with Persia and Duke. Like they've like had a couple segments here and there. Like and they had the makeout session last week. Like we get versus Index, months and months and months of intricate long-term storytelling with a wonderful, beautiful payoff. Like it's a no contest. I'm sorry, like not at all. So it does seem a little silly to me that they're trying to make this thing, and then like Persia's like, oh, tonight she said, oh, like I can tell when you're jealous. I'm like, what does Index have to be jealous? Sorry, Indy have to be jealous about? She and Dexter are married. They have, and I guess in reality, they like she could say we had this great story and this whole thing. I don't know. I'm having a hard time kind of getting beyond that kind of logical obstacle, I guess. But Steven, I agree. We've said it for weeks and weeks now. I kept thinking they would have a mixed tag team match Stand Deliver between the two couples. That's been pretty clear where we're going. They did not announce that tonight. They did not announce that for next week. So I don't know. I don't know what the deal is there. If they want to keep trying to build this up and add more heat to it, I guess. I think that's fine. But like, I think that this would be more of a worthwhile addition to the Stand Deliver card than Gunther and LA Knight. And I think both those guys are great. We'll talk about that in a minute. But in terms of a storyline that's been kind of brewing here for several weeks now, that would like be in the traditional sense of like deserving to be on that card, I think it'd be that. So that is pretty weird to me. We got Steven saying that he guesses the writers forgot that Index are married. I mean, we got a comment earlier about how like with the Dusty Cup Finals, like something so odd with the booking would never happen with Triple H's NXT. At the very least, it's pretty fair to say that like it's a different. I don't know. Supposedly Shawn Michaels is still running it. He was there when Triple H was running it, so like it's still supposedly for the most part the same team, as far as I know, as far as we've kind of seen in various articles, various reports. But it is kind of in some ways like a different continuity, if that makes sense. Like it is literally a reboot in that way. So I don't know. They are obviously a couple, but they don't often like reference that they're married. So I don't know. Maybe that guy retconned out. I'm a big comic book guy. You see retcons all the time in comic books. Maybe that they just kind of took the pencil and erased that for reasons, I guess. I don't know. It is odd. Again, yes, one of multiple odd things we saw here tonight. But again, they had not announced that that mixed tag team match for next week on NXT or for Stand Deliver here. So I don't know what that's about. We got Steven saying that Bruce Pritchard is taking over. There have been a couple reports about that, and Brian chiming in as well. As I remember seeing that like that was the initial report, and then I thought like Shawn Michaels is still running the day-to-day. I know that Vince and Bruce Pritchard are supposedly like, in charge. I just don't quite know exactly what the hierarchy there is, what the process there is. I can't speak to that. I don't know. Really, I don't think really anybody does. Because that's the very kind of like an inner working kind of thing. It'd be kind of hard to tell exactly how things work in that sense. Whereas in the Triple H era, my beloved Triple H era, things were a little more clear of like Triple H's team running things. And we all know how that went, but we're not going to dwell on that because again, overall NXT was pretty good tonight, and we want to try and focus on that. One thing I did enjoy, at least by and large. So I think it was yesterday in the afternoon they had announced that Robert Roode would be facing Bron Breakker as kind of this like build for the Stand Deliver title match. Obviously, Dolph Ziggler defending the title against Bron Breakker. Ziggler and Roode are tag team partners. It makes sense. But then Roode got pinned cleanly by Dominic Mysterio last night in a tag team match. And I was like, wow, that really kind of like sucked any, well, not any, but like some of my excitement. I'm like, you're going to try and like build this kind of big singles match. And then you're going to have Robert Roode lose to Dominic Mysterio. It's like, at least have the man get pinned by Rey Mysterio. Like, come on. But at the very least, as you might expect and at least hope for, we did indeed get Robert Roode's glorious theme song, Chef's Kiss. I miss that theme song so much. I remember like when they changed it when they started teaming up with Dolph Ziggler, I was so upset. I was like, it's so good. I kid you not. I'm not even exaggerating. I got chills when it played tonight. I missed that theme song. It set the stage for a very welcome callback to the black and gold era of NXT, Roode being a former NXT champion. And that's just saying that Triple H, kind of speaking of that, no, she is saying Triple H's NXT was the best. It was. I've made that abundantly clear, at least that's my own perspective. But we're rolling on here with 2.0. At the very least, for that reason, I welcome any and all callbacks to NXT Black and Gold here. So the glorious theme song was very, very welcome. And yes, Steven, it was glorious. It was a very maybe not a glorious match, but it was a darn good match. It was a very good match. Breakker won, as you'd expect. No fans or buts, really. Like Dolph Ziggler interfered here and there. Nothing much about that. He got ejected, and then Breakker, kind of a logical storytelling thing here. Ziggler gets ejected. Breakker's like, okay, cool. I don't have to deal with him anymore. And then Dolph attacked him from behind. He's like, well, look at you, kid. You just fell for that. So kind of a easy storytelling thing of the veteran versus the newbie there. Easy storytelling there. But overall, good match here. I liked it. Good kind of build to Stand Deliver here. I'm curious if they do anything next week. We might just get kind of like one of those prime target things. I don't know what else you could really do with it at this point, because the story's been told and there's not much else to do with it. It should be a good match. I still think Breakker's going to win. I really don't see this title run for Ziggler lasting any longer. That being said, they really don't do anything with Robert Roode on Raw other than taking losses to Dominic Mysterio. So I would definitely welcome him having, even if it's not a title run, just like some kind of prominent run here on NXT at the very least, so we could hear the glorious theme song more, because it is very welcome. It is very welcome. And that reminds me, we had like a tease of Rey Mysterio feuding with Santos Escobar last week. That didn't go anywhere this week, so I'm not sure if they just kind of dropped that. I think that would be a shame. That would be a very, very cool match. But we didn't. Obviously, we briefly saw Santos Escobar at ringside for the one of the qualifying matches tonight. So yet again, one of those guys I definitely think could be moving up to main roster at some point soon. And I'd welcome it. I think he would do great things on main roster. But absolutely, Red Tyler saying Robert Roode deserves much more respect than he gets. I mean, I wasn't watching when he first came to WWE. I watched him back with TNA way back when. And when I started watching, I liked what he was doing on Raw. He was teaming with Chad Gable. Not the best thing, like not the best use for him, but like he was on TV. He was the tag team champion. Granted, he and Ziggler were tag team champions as well. But yeah, he at times he'll just like not be on TV for months, or at least like kind of it's very irregular. So he deserves a heck of a lot more respect than he gets. I absolutely agree there. Steven saying, speaking of Roode being a champion, Steven says that he and Ziggler should say NXT to chase the titles, the tag titles. why not? Right now the champions are Imperium, but we know that they're going to be facing MSK and the Creed Brothers at Stand Deliver. I can see that. Again, we know that Ziggler, we've seen Ziggler kind of pulling double duty here in the past couple of weeks, so it's not like he has to go back to just being on Raw. I think that's at least possible. I don't know. I'd like to see it, at least in hypotheticals here. But no, let's give Robert Roode, let's give him his flowers. Brian saying Roode's so underrated. We got Nestor saying she loved seeing Roode on Impact, hates the WWE has even better. The man looks like a star, acts like a star, talks like a star. He's great in the ring. He's got great charisma, great presence. He's got experience. What more could you want? Why not? I don't get it. Again, I think we've brought up before here on the show. I think he came in at a time where him, Eric Young, a bunch of other guys from Impact or TNA. We have more love from Steve Timbers here saying props to Roode there. But a bunch of those guys where they're 35 and up, kind of in that 35 to 40 range to come to WWE. And that's kind of usually, at least for kind of new guys, they come to WWE and Vince sees them as too old. Supposedly, there's at least that perception. And it's hard to disagree. It's hard to disagree kind of the way we've seen Roode get booked here. But that's what makes it so much nicer when you see him, even if he's not winning, he's in the spotlight here, and he's getting the glorious theme song, at least tonight. So, it was welcome. It was a very welcome change. Shout out to Bobby Roode, or Robert Roode in this case. A very, very talented guy. I always think he deserves a heck of a lot better. So, and again, not trying to harp on the point, but Brian's saying Triple H knew how to book these guys, like Robert Roode, like Eric Young, like any number EC3 when he was in NXT, any number of others, and now, we know that things did not go their way on the main roster to varying degrees, and it's a damn shame. But onward we go. We got some other stuff to talk about. One big thing was the ongoing mystery angle with the Creed Brothers. The Creed Brothers picked up a win against Skills Young Veterans. Good match. Not really much to say about it. Then we go back. We pan backstage. And folks, did anybody see NXT running back the Retribution angle? Because we had the Creed Brothers win, and then the lights kind of went down, and we go backstage, and there are these hooded guys, supposedly guys. I don't know. Could be anything. Anybody. I don't know. I'm not here to judge. These hooded individuals, if you will, spray painting the Creed. The Diamond Mine gym thing, and they spray painted "Don't Cry," and then they have text message words on the screen saying you can't find us. We'll come to you eventually in due time. Yeah, that was basically it. And I don't know. The Retribution thing could have been something on the main roster, and they just the wheels quickly fell off, and it went nowhere. And the plan clearly just I don't know if they ever had a real plan for it in terms of, and if one of those things where they had the mystery and they never knew what they wanted to be, kind of like the anonymous GM way back in the day. So now, of course, the question is, who could it be? I don't know. I really don't know. My first thought was that it'd be some new team, some new signing that we don't know about. And in that regard, I don't know. Of the signings we know about in terms of the recent Performance Center signings, nobody jumps off the page as a tag team. I don't know. My other thought is that it's a swerve and it's MSK turning heel, which would make a whole lot of sense. We got Red Tyler saying maybe T-Bar literally is bringing back Retribution. Maybe. I really don't know. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing here. Hopefully we get some kind of clarification about why they're targeting the Creed Brothers. I don't know. If you want to get wild, obviously if you want to get super duper crazy, in theory, for going way off the rails, I'd be it's Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly trying to get revenge on Roderick Strong. Obviously that's not it, because they're with AEW. I'm just saying going way crazy. That'd be something that could be a thing in a alternate universe, but obviously that's not it. And Nesha guessing MSK. Maybe, but I like this idea that could be Mason Tibor quite literally bring back Retribution. Maybe someone from UK. You know, we mentioned earlier here that Roderick Strong is doing things over on UK. So maybe like Mustache Mountain or honestly, again, I don't watch UK, so I can't even speak to like the other tag teams there. So at this point, I would say MSK is the best bet, and they're going for the swerve, which is a little convoluted because like they said it wasn't them, and then they just be lying, and they're like, that's not great. I don't know, folks. I don't know. It's silly. It's like at the very this really screamed Retribution to me. So they could have kind of shaken up a little bit because again the bad taste of the Retribution angle there, it's still, or the bad taste, the bad smell, I guess it still lingers. It still stinks real bad. So I don't know. We got Steven saying maybe it's like the tag team quote unquote waiters for Toxic Attraction. That's Malik Blade and Idris Inife, maybe. But they're busy trying to win over Toxic Attraction. I'm thinking like they're busy doing their own thing. They're trying to woo the ladies, I guess. But I don't know. Now that we're talking about it, like at least Mason T-Bar, they've been on TV, they've been featured, they've won matches, they beat tag teams. Like they've got some track record, I guess. Like I could see it. T-Bar, Dominic Dijak is great. I think he deserves like to be on TV, like, you know, doing stuff. Whereas he's really just been on main event lately. So I think that'd be good. And NXT needs more tag teams, so I wouldn't be all that upset about that. Like I would at least see some of the silver lining there. But you know, I agree, Nesha. We're probably overlooking something, and I just admittedly am like struggling to think about who else it might be. And when it is revealed, we might kind of just I don't know. We might be surprised. We got Anthony saying maybe it will be Roderick Strong and someone else swerving them. I honestly don't remember. I don't think Strong was in the ring when the segment happened, so it could be. Maybe. I'll say maybe to that. I think it's possible. We got Steven Chambers saying it could be Ali. Literally going with the Retribution thing. I mean, shout out to Ali. The guy is so talented, and WWE is literally just, you know, not using him at all because the whole contract situation and him requesting his release, and that's a damn shame. He's so talented. To not do anything with him, it's a shame. So would I like to see that? Yes, because he's not doing anything at all on TV right now. But I think that's a little complicated, so I'm not quite sure how that would work right now. But hey, if we're going for that Retribution revival thing, I think that's pretty good. So why not? Shout out to Chase University. It pops me every single time. We had Buddy Hayward cutting a promo about how his intestinal fortitude in the wake of getting attacked by Von Wagner, and I was talking about that. And then he started yelling at a student, you know, very much in the style of Andre Chase. And Andre's like, where did you learn to talk to a student like that? And Bodie was like, well, you, sir. And Andre's like, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. I was just like, again, is this gimmick going to work on the main roster? Probably not. Okay. Is he going to be a future world champion? No. But not everyone has to be a future world champion or even a champion. Like, you can have people be entertaining. It doesn't have to be like, you know, someone that you're going to push to the moon or someone that you're going to like feature as a main act. It can just be them having their own little niche on a show with these funny segments. Yeah, Brian, I think Andre's funny as hell. He's funny, man. Like, he's making this gimmick work, and I've said it before. I think he's one of the most entertaining parts of 2.0 just as a whole here. The whole like this introduction of new characters. Like the first week he was on the show, I was like, I'm here for it. We got this like, I mean, I was a college student not too long ago, and it reminded me of like doing class presentations. You got Bodie Hayward up there. He plays this video like it's a PowerPoint presentation. I'm like, I don't know. They're doing fun things. Like you got the student section. Like, it's fun. It's just fun, man. I'm liking it. It's good. Am I thrilled that it comes at the? I don't want to be harsh and say the consequence that comes alongside having Von Wagner pick up some dominant wins. No, and that's presumably where we're going. We got Von Wagner on the show tonight. He'll be facing, I think it was Buddy Hayward next week. So pretty clearly seems like a lock that Von Wagner will get the win there because again they're very clearly high on him. and that's their prerogative. But no, at the very least, as long as we got Andre Chase doing these segments here, I agree, Steven. He does make the show entertaining, so I'm on board with it. I'm in favor. I'm liking it a lot. Not a whole else otherwise to really dig into here, other than a Legado del Fantasma. I said it before. I think they should be, if not a dominant stable, a featured stable, and yet they are feuding with a borderline comedy act in Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs. I may have butchered that. I get their names confused. I'm sorry. It's whatever. Briggs and Jensen. I just all call them Briggs and Jensen. So we had Elektra Lopez facing Fallon Henley, who's kind of become the third member of Briggs and Jensen's, I don't know, group thing. I don't know. They're kind of a thing. They're teasing yet another romance, and then Legado was the ringside. They brawled with Briggs and Jensen. Lopez won, thankfully, so that was good. And we know that the two teams will be facing off next week. We got Nestor saying that Elektra should face Mandy Rose here. I like it. Brian saying that Lopez has so much talent. Legado's the best faction. I mean, on paper, I think they are in many ways, but they just haven't been treated like it. You got Santos. I mean, yeah, he qualified for the ladder match last week. But Legado, it doesn't seem like they win a lot of matches. We got Legado, I think it was Raul Mendoza lost to Dominic Mysterio last week. And that's not trying to knock Dominic, but that's not the best look. And then, Elektra won here tonight. So, they're building her up slowly but surely. It's weird. I don't know if I really see them doing like a Toxic Attraction versus Legado thing, because that would make a whole lot of sense. Like, I don't know about that. Although you do have Malik Bladen and Idris enough that kind of they're on the men's side of things to kind of even it out. I don't know. It's a very good. They're a very good stable. I like them a lot. I think they deserve better. I do think that. So the comedy thing we had, like the Briggs and Jensen were out there and they were telling Fallon Henley, like, I don't know which is which, Briggs and Jensen. One of them was like, "Oh, you're the most beautiful woman," trying to like give her this pre-match motivation. It's not doing it for me. I don't know. Nestor saying that Fallon has now become the love interest. Yeah. Like they're very clearly going in that direction. Yet another love storyline here. We got some praise for Elektra, but Steven saying that Lopez not ready yet. Put Mandy I guess maybe saying no. I'm sorry, Steven. I think you mean put Mandy against either Kaylee Ray or Io. I mean, apparently we're going to get both. We're going to get the Fatal 4-Way. And then I guess that would give Elektra more time to grow. And I think I would agree that, like, we've seen her in some matches, but, like, I feel like we've seen her in, like, less than 10 total singles matches since she came to NXT. So, definitely I would say she would benefit from some more time to kind of get some seasoning and kind of show the world what she can do. But I think eventually that could be a pretty cool match. Michael pointing out that Fallon Henley, I think, was the one of the members of the latest signing for the Performance Center. Also in that class is Roxy, former Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. Very excited for her. I think she'll do great things. So they got new talent coming in. One of them was like featured as maybe not in that class. One of the signings from the Las Vegas tryout was featured as the acquisition, I guess, of the Robert Stone brand. I forget her name, but they're clearly trying to set up this group with Robert Stone. So time will tell how that goes, but we're getting some new talent here, so that's a good thing. Brian pointed out that Lopez has been on main event, so that, yeah, again, had I more time, I would definitely watch UK. I actually do want to watch NXT UK. There's just only so much time, so much wrestling, and I already cover so much as it is. So I can't do it. Level Up is on after, I think, SmackDown on Friday nights. And if I'm not doing the podcast for SmackDown, I'm either covering and or watching Rampage and or covering a Ring of Honor or a G7 show. There's just so much wrestling. It's a wonderful thing, but then that means you got to choose. And like, I'm sorry, probably won't be watching NXT Level Up unless there's really, really, really like a special match that really gets me interest there. But no, Nesha, I agree. Roxy is awesome. Looking forward to it. I'm hoping to see her at some point soon. She, in theory, to me, should be kind of ready to go at some point soon. She was on Ring of Honor TV for a while. So other than the WWE style that they would probably want her to kind of get used to, I would say that she would probably I don't know. I don't see her needing a lot of time, but then again, Taya Valkyrie needed a couple months to kind of get into the speed of things for the quote unquote WWE style. I say, like, I'm not saying that she needed that like in her own, and not that's not on her as a talent. That's just like it's a different style. That's all it is. So Roxy, for all we know, could show up in 2 weeks. She could show up in 2 months. And I really don't know, but I am looking forward to seeing her once she's on WWE TV. I think she could very well be a very big get for NXT and maybe for the main roster. I think she's very, very talented. I interviewed her almost a year ago now when she was in the women's tournament for Ring of Honor. She has such a great story. She started wrestling when she was 13, folks. 13. Imagine that. It's such a wonderful story. Like, she's so passionate, dedicated. I'm biased. I got to kind of hear her story firsthand. So big fan of her, and I'm hoping for her to do great things here on NXT and beyond. So looking forward to that. Brian, yeah, they might change the name. They probably will. That's what they do. But I'll probably always call her Roxy because that's how I came to know her. So, and that's all there is to it. Stephen pointed out, yeah, I was doing not the math, but I was kind of looking at the schedule the other day. So much wrestling, folks. So much wrestling. WrestleMania weekend. My gosh. Friday, you got SmackDown, Hall of Fame, Impact, Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor. The Ring of Honor's first show since Find Battle. Huge deal. And there's a New Japan Strong show. I think that's all. That's for no. And there's GCW on Friday and Saturday, of course. There's WrestleMania. There's Stand Deliver, the NXT show we're doing right now. I think there's another multiple shows for the collective. There's a bunch of stuff there, and then of course WrestleMania Sunday. There is so much stuff, and that's like kind of the peak. That's what WrestleMania weekend is. But yeah, like even just on a week to week basis, there's there's literally something every single day. And again, I will level up there. There's multiple things a day, so it's like you got to pick and choose. And again, no knock and level up. The people on that show very, very talented. They're making progress, but like, I'm sorry, I can't do it. There's just so much wrestling. Again, it's a beautiful thing. Do you want to mention? I mentioned earlier we did see Gunther tonight. Speaking of having so much wrestling to enjoy, Gunther gave us a match to enjoy. He was chopping the daylights out of Duke Hudson tonight. Gunther's chops, and I'm trying not to refer to him as Walter. Gunther was just chopping Duke Hudson. My gosh, this man's chops, like, they're no joke. They literally ranked up the arena. They were turning Duke Hudson's chest like beet red. It's beautiful, beautifully violent. Like, it's just like, this man is crazy. Like, he is just a beast. He's leaned up so much. Like, he used to be a really big guy. Now he's a big, lean guy. Like, he's the lean, mean chopping machine. I don't know. Boy, oh boy. Like, I really think, assuming Breakker wins the title back at Stand Deliver, I think that's your next big program for, at the very least, the next NXT special. And yeah, we got the Dexter picture of Gunther tonight. He supposedly drew a picture of Gunther, and it was like this, him wearing the jacket, and it was like the cartoony Gunther drawing there. Big fan of Dexter again. I said that before, but he won again, and there wasn't much to it. Although we do. Oh, sorry. LA Knight came out because Gunther started running his mouth, and then Gunther said to LA Knight, "Oh, you're everything that's wrong with pro wrestling these days." And I was like, "Wow, that's a little harsh." And then LA Knight was like, "Oh no, let me talk to you." And then that set up a match for Stand Deliver. I think that's cool. I like it. I think that's a fun kind of clash of personalities. And LA Knight, yet again, one of those guys, great look, amazing presence. Like, he's got charisma for days. He's, again, probably one of the best promos they have in the company right now. So I have to think / hope that he will be on the main roster at some point soon. I worry what the shelf, what the ceiling is for him there. I don't really know what he could do in terms of how they might utilize him. I do think he's one heck of a talent. I really think he deserves the very, very best. Great talent there. I hope to see him win, or maybe if not win a Stand Deliver, at the very least go up in the roster. I think that's long overdue. I'd like to see it. Hope it happens. But speaking of people winning Stand Deliver, Nash is saying she does not think that Breakker will win at Stand Deliver. She thinks that Ziggler will retain, presumably. So it could happen. I mean, they did have Breakker on Raw as kind of this crossover storyline, so they're kind of planting those seeds. I don't know if that time is now. I do think they might want to have some of the next guy beat Breakker. Like they already built Breakker as the face of 2.0. I think they might want to have the next face of 2.0 beat him. So whether that's, I don't know who that would be. Walter's been on NXT UK for years, so he's not like a new guy. Grayson Waller, Kamala Hayes, maybe. I just don't know. I don't know. Like, it's kind of tough to call the kind of the longer, the bigger picture there. But that makes it interesting. And so that's why I'm thinking like NXT 2.0, making progress. It's getting more interesting. It's getting a little more compelling, a little more, and then, more better matches, better storylines, better building up of just overall intrigue. So that's good. We're making progress. It's a beautiful thing. I'm liking that at least. So that's a win. That's a win. Stevenson, the Gunther should win at least the Stand Deliver. I would agree. Like, they've been very, very much building him up as this top star. So I'd like to see that. I think that'd be pretty good. And again, I think that's the next big feud there. So I like to see it. Nesh was saying Gunther could beat Ziggler. I can see it. Honestly, I could see it. If Breakker loses at Stand Deliver, I think that would make sense. I don't know if you're going to have Breakker lose to Ziggler twice. Like, that's a hard sell. Like, Breakker is like, they're clearly all in with him. So losing to Ziggler twice, not the best. But we got Brian saying Walter got me tripped up. Walter/Gunther would be good. He's due for the NXT title as well. I would agree. So I hope we get to see that some point soon. Again, I have to think that's where we're heading eventually, but time will tell. We got one more episode of NXT before Stand Deliver. That's the NXT will be next Tuesday. Stand Deliver is the following Saturday. They announced several matches. We got that 6-man I mentioned earlier. We got that triple threat match as well. Bunch of other things as well. Probably I can't remember all of them, but nonetheless, it's gonna be a good show. I mean, on paper, it's a good card. So looking forward to it. I'm gonna actually look at the card real quick so I can sound like I know what I'm talking about. We've got the qualifier, the 6-man. We got Von Wagner versus Buddy Hayward as well, and we also have the Briggs and Jensen versus Legado. So all in all, pretty good card. Not too bad. Like, that's a pretty solid go home show. I'm sure more will be announced as well. So pretty good. That is pretty darn good. I think that could very well continue this solid stretch of momentum. Again, I was feeling pretty good about NXT tonight. I was feeling pretty darn good. And then the ending angle with the tag team switcheroo, with the Dusty Cup really threw me off. But another overall pretty good episode of NXT 2.0, which is like far and away solid progress from where we were in like December, where they were burying Black and Gold and very clearly like trying to figure out what 2.0 is. So not bad at all. Like, that's really not bad. I will have to knock down my own score for the show closing angle because that really threw me off. I'll go for all right. Without the show closing angle with the Women's Dusty Cup thing, I would go for like a 7.3, 7.4 maybe, which is like really high for me in NXT 2.0. With the show closing angle, I would probably go for closer to a 7 because it really took me out of it. We got Steven with 7 as well. Natural with a 7.5. So we are making progress. 2.0. Got like, it's good. Like, it's a good thing to see. Like, I don't come here wanting to like bash any show, whether it's Raw, SmackDown, NXT. Like, I never ever like want to come here and say, oh, this was bad, I didn't like it, I wasn't entertained or whatever. I want to like the show. So when I do, I feel good. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it's a more fun time for everyone when we can come here and just say, oh, this was a good show. I liked this. Oh, maybe this wasn't great, but overall it was good. So that's what we got tonight, and that's a good thing. We got Brian saying it was an 8.5. I thought the build up to Stand Deliver was great. So there you go. I would agree. I think the card is shaping up very, very nicely. And overall, we got Steven saying NXT getting better to watch, slowly improving, slowly but surely. So, it took a while. I think they're slowly hitting their stride a little bit. And yes, it is a very good thing. And that's the thing. Thankfully, they are improving. Herman saying he gives show a 5 because he fell asleep. I don't blame you. I've been there myself. At least before I had to do it for work. There were plenty of times where I fell asleep watching Raw over the years. But I thought tonight was definitely interesting enough to keep me engaged. And for better or worse, whether it was a good opening match or the not so great show closing angle, at least was noteworthy, interesting, compelling, and we're here, like, stuff to talk about. I always tell John, I would always rather there be something to talk about. The shows where it's like nothing happens and there's nothing really interesting, those are the worst. Then it's like, then we're sitting here and you got to try and like make it interesting when nothing really happens. We're on the road Stand Deliver, things are happening. Again, some good, some not so good, but something to talk about. And as the person hosting the show, that's a good thing. So with that, we are fully on the road to Stand Deliver. That is next Saturday, not the Saturday, but next Saturday. And then, of course, WrestleMania is just after that. That is literally the same day, WrestleMania Saturday. So it's that time of the year. Again, I talked about earlier, so much wrestling. Sometimes more than we know what to do with, especially that weekend. Again, it's literally multiple events every single day. We're going to try our best to get through it as best we can. John's going to be there quite truly every single event for WrestleMania weekend. So, but I'll be here the very least for Friday, covering SmackDown, or we'll definitely bring Von for Friday. I'll be covering WrestleMania Sunday. I'll be watching WrestleMania at the very least. We'll figure all it out. But yes, it's going to be crazy. And what's going to be crazy? Well, as I mentioned it, I don't know what we're going to do for the post shows because I'm going to be covering Ring of Honor. We got SmackDown, we got Rampage, we got so much stuff. It's just like we got to figure that out. I got to sit down and like kind of hammer that out. John's going to be at WrestleMania, so that's at the very least I might have to pull in some guests or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But there's an abundance of wrestling to enjoy. And yes, Nesha, there's not enough time to enjoy all of it. Like I want to watch it all. I want to watch GCW and Ring of Honor and Impact and New Japan and WWE and AEW. And it's just like there were only 24 hours in the day. So let alone watching it live, but even just watching it overall, it's like there's only so much any one of us can consume. It's like it is an overload in a good way. It's a good problem to have, but boy, oh boy, it is that kind of time. And that's the thing. I'll help you. Well, I appreciate it. That's very kind of it. We'll figure it out. It's going to be a crazy time. Yeah, it's going to be. The coffee will be flowing that weekend. At the very least, that is what I can confirm. That is not a prediction. That is a spoiler. The coffee will be flowing. Boy, oh boy. But with that being said, folks, it's a fun time. I never complain when there's too much wrestling to enjoy. There was a time in 2020 when I was very, very worried that the wrestling industry itself would shut down and I wouldn't be here. I would have to get a day job doing something outside of the wrestling world. But here we are. I do this for a living, and for a living, and it's a wonderful thing. And it's a good time. And for that reason, I especially with the shows where it's just me, I like to take a moment to say, folks, thank you all so much for tuning in. Like, it really does mean so much to come here, for you guys to come here to spend your time with me, and for the Raw show, me and John, for the SmackDown show, me and Robert, just to talk about wrestling, to escape the scary world that's out there, to come here and just talk about the wild, wacky, weird world of wrestling, and and just. It's cool, man. It's just like I really do appreciate all your support. I wouldn't be here without you. I don't do this just for myself. Like, I do this to try and do a good show for you all, and I hope to do that every single week. That's always my objective here. We're very lucky that it is such a great time to be a wrestling fan. Again, there is an abundance, perhaps an excess of wrestling to enjoy, but that's a very good thing. And I'm going to ride out as long as we possibly can. Maybe it's a bubble. Maybe it'll burst, but at the very least here today, and as it has been, it's been a beautiful ride. So we're going to keep riding it out here. It's a fun time. It's a great time. I appreciate you all so much. I'm not saying you love me. I love you all. I do, man. I love my job. I love coming here to talk about wrestling here. I'm very fortunate in that regard to do what I love for a living and to be here with you all here week after week. I've made it no secret. There are times it's a struggle. When Nasha says she enjoyed the Thunderdome era. The lowest of the low during the Thunderdome era, that was a struggle of you come here week after week and the product is not really good and you got to try and put on a good show, and it can be hard. And especially for me, John gives you crap for it sometimes. We have a little banter. He's all aboard the WWE train still. He's very loyal, and I respect him for that. My WWE fandom is taking a hit here and there where it's like I see AW and I respect what they're doing, and that's more my brand of wrestling these days. But I still come here to talk about Raw and SmackDown and NXT and whatever else there is to talk about. And So that can make it hard, right? Where it's like I've become a little. I'm not jaded yet. Somehow, some way, I'm not like jaded, but at the very least, I am a little more critical. So sometimes it can make it hard to come here and say, "Oh, I thought this was good." Like last week on SmackDown, a lot of you guys thought the show was really good, and I was like, "Wow, this build to WrestleMania has not been it." But that's the beauty of what we do here. I can come here and say, "Hey guys, I didn't love this," but some of you can say, "Hey, I thought the show was great," and that's the wonderful thing about respectfully disagreeing. Like we don't have to agree. We come here to talk about it, and that's a beautiful thing, and that's why I love it so much. So again, thank you all so much for your support. It really does mean so much to me. It's just I appreciate it more than I can say. And that being said, it's a wonderful time to be a wrestling fan. As I mentioned at the start of the show, we do so much to trying to give you guys any number of forms of entertainment, whether it's the shows we do here for Raw, SmackDown, NXT, two Dynamo dudes on a Rampage, Marcus and Dominic cover all things AEW. We've got a great stream of interviews constantly coming at you guys. I interviewed Matt Cardona. I interviewed Big Damo. Bill Pritchard recently interviewed Dutch Mantel, Al Snow, any number of like big names. Like we're getting some great interviews here. I say that very biased, but like it's really cool. Like we're always doing our best to pump out great content for you guys. So please leave a like and subscribe. We appreciate it. Again, I appreciate you all so very much. Thank you for humoring my little rant on my soapbox. I want you all to know I appreciate it. It means a lot. And that being said, it's a wonderful time to be a wrestling fan, week in, week out, especially the road to WrestleMania. Not just saying thank you. I don't do it for the thank you, but I really do appreciate it. That does mean a lot. Thank you kindly. And that being said, we come here together to do one thing above all others, and that, my friends, is to enjoy wrestling. Thanks for listening, everybody, and have a good night.